The following is a best-of-5 set in the round of 8 in the Rising Melee Elimination Bracket. Introducing the combatants first, fighting out of Boise, Idaho, representing 69%, the Drunken Master, Nickemwit! Introducing now his opponent, repping the CTX, the Lone Star Puff, SDJ!
Thank you very much, Stu. We got Nickemwit up against SDJ, another clash for 7th place. And speaking, these are stats from the collision that I'm hearing. But speaking of clashes, one of the last times these two had played on File, and it does say it right here in the center of our screen, was 6 years ago at Clutch City Clash 2. It was a Game 5, but there have been many, many years, days, and months separating these two from playing each other once again.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. I'm just noticing that, Nickemwit used to be NMW versus SDJ. The three-letter tag rivalry is alive and well. But there's a bit more to talk about with both of these players. Nick is a player who was ranked 84th in 2022. But more than that, just been a kind of perennial face of the scene for like decades. Just a very, very kind of established player and someone who I think is a bit underrated. And then on the flip side, we have SDJ is a player who, I mean, for a couple things. I don't know if we're seeing it yet, but SDJ sometimes likes to rock 2 headsets. I saw yesterday. That was
sick.
That was very strange. But beyond that, just had a top 8 at Shine, I believe. So being able to top 8 a tournament of that caliber, kind of showing that SDJ is breaking out of kind of the kind of middle of the top 100 potential to kind of even something greater. So, and one of the faces of kind of a newer wave of Puff players that we've been seeing in people like Toussaint, CPU Zero, that are kind of pushing the playstyle in a different way than kind of what we see for someone like Hungrybox.
For sure. Yeah, Nickemwit as well, former NorCal player, now turned to Idaho. I believe he was a early Vox adopter as well, Rectangle Falcon player. And his whole kind of bread and butter is that he is very good against floaty players. He kind of made his name, especially when he made it onto the top 100 last year, beating a bunch of these floaty matchups right here. So I think this is a good draw for Nick, but again, these guys in particular haven't played in 6 years, so it's really hard to say for sure.
Yeah, and of course the final thing is that SDJ is a local Texas player.
Yep.
So defending his home turf, trying to do the best there. So, really interesting to see. I think also just in general, background of this matchup, which will be Falcon versus Puff, is just that this is a matchup that for a while we kind of saw as Puff favored, and then we saw a ton of development, particularly from Wizrobe, and now it really can be quite back and forth. So I'm interested to see where we go from here. There's a lot of little nuance to the matchup too, like how Jigglypuff's crouch kind of works, which we'll talk about in a bit. Yeah, we're getting started already.
Let's get into it. Yeah, those developments right around the year that these two last played as well, right? Optic Arena, probably like 2017, 2018, many, many years ago at this point. See SDJ go to the races right here. Yeah, and I think SDJ is in a kind of unique case where he doesn't pull the trigger on rest too much when he knows he can kind of stack up and get a fat combo off instead.
Yeah, and that's always kind of this weird risk-reward with Puff, where you want to know, should you kind of value the high combo, or should you go for the kind of immediate kill? In that option, there were a lot of little spacing tricks that SDJ did to just barely avoid Nickemwit, so really, really good stuff so far. Good at rest again, but doesn't opt for it. So kind of seeing that not as rest-heavy, also a little bit more grounded, which for Puff is kind of a bit of a strange thing given her run speed.
Yeah, we see crouch in corner is going to be a very common position from SDJ as well. From top 16, he was doing that a lot, kind of getting underneath jabs from Falcon, forcing him to go for stomp as the answer of choice in this matchup. Get around the CC as well. Looks like SDJ will be able to get this stock, though, and keep the lead going.
I like that Nickemwit kind of rocking the like Emperor Palpatine vibe right now. Using the dark side of the Force, he needs to turn this around because so far SDJ really getting a lot of value and not even using it from rest. So good stuff so far.
That stomp didn't get too much from NMW, but that is kind of the name of the game in this matchup, right? You see the Puff crouching, you can go for the stomp. It gets around a lot of what's going on right here. If you go and rip a grab or a jab or anything like that, a lot of Puffs will just go for the rest straight from the jump.
And I love that you bring up the stomp because that actually is one of the kind of big innovations that Puff players are working on in the matchup where stomp is kind of the main way you deal with Jigglypuff's crouch. You know, she can crouch under the grab. But the thing about stomp is it's actually reactable. You know, it's a move that has quite a bit of startup, even though it gets a lot of value. So at a higher level, we've been seeing more and more Puffs, especially in this sort of new wave, that are kind of trying to reactively move out of the way, shield, stuff like that.
For sure.
It kind of added additional layer of mix-ups, and because of that, you know, it gives Puff a big advantage.
There's kind of a quick reaction right there. I don't know if SDJ was just planning on that to be a counter hit. But like you said before, very reactable move at the top level.
Yeah, I mean, so far, like, SDJ doesn't go for rest even one time, manages to get a clean 2-stock. That looked, like, very, very solid.
Not even
SDJ
once.
holding it down for Texas.
That's right. We'll see counter picks coming through in just a moment. Top half of my screen's a little bit cut off, but that's all right. We don't use those stages that much.
Yep, now we're going to FD. Not super surprising as a counter pick, but I don't know. I still feel like, you know, this isn't as kind of one-sided, in my opinion, of a counter pick. I never really minded it back. I used to main Puff. When I was playing Puff, it didn't seem too bad. So we'll see how it works out for Nickemwit.
Sure. That cross-up from SDJ into immediate up tilt is a common setup that we'll see just in neutral right there. We kind of are expecting NMW to jump out of shield early, so he'll do a wait right there and then hopefully get a rest or some kind of big pickup. Instead, he's going to take a big knee to the face.
One of the things you always have to be considerate about when you're playing FD, especially in a situation where you're in a floatier matchup where stage positioning tends to matter more, beautiful edge guard sequence, by the way, is how they play the corner. If you don't have platforms, you don't kind of have that mix-up of how you're going to get out, so your options are kind of limited to, like, full hopping, rolling, and right now we've been seeing a lot of corner situations from SDJ, keeping Nickemwit like we're seeing right now. How do you get out of that? If you guess wrong, you can get killed.
Okay, NMW kind of running away with it right there. Let's go, Nick. Here we go. Run-up shield I like as well. Yeah, we've been seeing just a lot of falling aerials from SDJ, so just get the blocks up if you can. Wow, and again, so many situations where you would see a lot of other Puffs just go for jab reset and rip that rest right out the gate.
Yeah, again, it's like, it kind of shows that as much as Puff has, like, arguably one of the best moves of the game, if not the best, you know, pretty much an instant 50-50 kill, so powerful in rest, but not even using that. I love the down tilt there, and that
only
is only one
Puff in the world is going to ever do that, and it's SDJ.
Yeah, that was really, really solid. One of the kind of weaker moves. Not able to get a tech there. I'm not even sure if he'd survive even in spite of that, but this is pretty even. Just as I say that, almost potential for a rest. Of course, as soon as you get a little bit of damage here, rest is going to be able to kill. Up air, nope. CC's down and immediate buffered spot dodge. Really good defensive play from Nickemwit.
But take a look at these 1-2s from SDJ, right? He'll go in aerial, and then if he doesn't get the knock-up, he's almost always going for up tilt. And we haven't seen Nickemwit punish that at all yet. There's the first rest of the game, though.
And specifically, if you look at that rest, SDJ opted to go for a rest that wasn't really like the low percent one. It's one where you're much more likely to be DIing, expecting to get knocked off stage, and then those are the situations we're going to die off the top. So SDJ very conscious of the kind of DI mix-up there. Beautiful play.
Sure.
Killing percent once again, but that should be the kill. Yep.
Kill
We're
off
going
the
down
top.
to last stock. You know, counter pick working out fairly well for Nickemwit. A lot of nice adaptations we've seen, but rest is so on the table. Beautiful tech, though.
It is for sure, but I mean, up tilt looks like it's even more on the table, just presented on a silver platter right now. How many have we seen in this game alone? It's just been an astronomical amount. And again, I mean, a lot of onus is on Nickemwit to either A, block that, or B, get the hell out of the way if you can.
Yeah, and I actually think, you know, giving up the corner there was pretty intense. Maybe not mistake, but misposition there. And now, beautiful SDI up. That was so clutch. Keeping it in it, but still SDJ putting on so much pressure.
Yep.
Like the tomahawk, again, not something you're going to be expecting.
Weak hit in air, doesn't get too much. Oh no, a missed input there perhaps on wave dash. No
oh my god,
way!
the nipple spike! That was so clutch.
That was actually his only out there, I think. Reverse hit knee, I don't think kills
No, for sure, it does not.
So,
yeah, really good stuff. I just can't get over the
that was stolen away.
The Sith vibe with the red lighting. But
that nipple spike was on the table, and the Emperor said, "Do it." That was unbelievable. Yeah, evens that one up.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's crazy. That's the rest you want to go for out of all the opportunities you've had?
I'm not even positive what that was. It was an up tilt, and it looks like Nickemwit did the ASDI down to stay grounded, and then SDJ still able to get the rest. Very kind of weird high-level interaction there.
Yes.
Goes for the tomahawk, but facing the wrong way. I'm not sure exactly what you get off there. Maybe an up smash, and...
Wow, a little bit lazy on the drift in from SDJ, though, right? And Nickemwit didn't put up the block right there. He'll be able to get a counter hit right here, see if he can equalize the stocks, but not going to happen just yet.
Obviously, of course, now that we're on Fountain, the roll of the platforms making it a lot easier to play around the corner. I like the tomahawk, but the crouch kind of coming into play. It's easier said than done to get the rest off of that. I know people kind of are used to seeing the crouch rest be a big part of it, but you know, if you react even a little bit late, you lose your stock.
That's right, that's right. All right, playing the slow game now. Let's see, of course, rising up air from Nickemwit will even the stock.
Now, you know, of course, at 71%, Solid Bear will kind of set up at least a tech chase, if not an edge guard, depending on where you're at. So we're going to see kind of SDJ switch the game plan a little bit just to try to get a solid hit because of the percents. But Nickemwit kind of baiting out SDJ. I love the run-up grab there.
Wow, really, really patient from Nickemwit to just find ledge there. Especially just knowing how many air-to-airs SDJ has been able to get so far. That's a great counter hit as well to start inching his way back into this game.
Yeah, so far built up a lot of percent, but that will do it. I like the Nair extension. And now SDJ has a little bit to play with. As, again, a former Puff player myself, this is the moment where you're like, I wouldn't mind getting a little rest right now.
Okay.
But Nick silencing that immediately, and we're back to an even game.
It is crazy to see how many just raw callouts we're getting as the kill options for each of these games, right? Instead of just straight conversions like you would see traditionally off from a Wizro, right? Down throw into the aerial conversion. Nick's just reading drift right now.
Yeah, and it's like you said, you know, experience versus floaty is something that kind of is showing here. This has been a very, very close set. Gets another back air, though. Forward air going to potentially close it out. Yep.
All right. There was a collective groan from the crowd after that one.
Texas not supporting the local player. Lots of people supporting Falcon. All right. Again, this is kind of the percent. I like the Nairs as well. This is one of the matchups where you can kind of use Nair a bit more aggressively, but the rest is going to do it. We're going to game 4. And
SDJ up right now. Yeah, that was, I mean, honestly great. Like, knew when he needed to pull the trigger on that one. Of course, the jab reset comes through its last stock. You better be doing the rest on that one. We'll allow it for this.
Absolutely. Going to Battlefield. I kind of like this pick. You know, fairly straightforward. Lots of things you can do kind of from both sides. Good awareness to go for the reset from SDJ, but even better for Nick to get the tech. And not going to do it. One of the things we haven't really talked about in this matchup that's kind of huge is just that Falcon is kind of the only character that can really contest Jigglypuff's drift. Just another character that's really, really mobile in the air. And that's part of the reason why I think this matchup kind of developed to where it is. For a long time, obviously, Puff kind of having the edge. But Falcon can do some stuff, some really solid aerials. And we've been seeing this sort of bear warp between the two of them at times. And, you know, again, Falcon can kind of hang.
Right. Nick taking this real slow so far, but one opportunity is all SDJ needs to find a stock right here. It's going to be a little bit of a mix on this top platform, and now you're caught off stage. It's probably first stock for SDJ now for as well as Nick played that.
I want to point out a beautiful mix-up there with the weak hit forward air. I could see Nick actually laughing because he was expecting the back air. So many Puffs with back air there, and it was that little mix-up that got SDJ the kill. Beautiful position again. Gets the tech, though. We can see SDJ doing what I was saying before about really trying to get that rest. You know, this is the situation where if you're able to close at a stock, you pretty much close at the set.
Right.
But Nickemwit playing it safe, evening it out, and suddenly looks winnable on both sides. Nice.
Yeah, and again, I said it in an earlier game, right? So Nick really needs to keep a lookout for SDJ's landing patterns because it's been several in a row. It's just landing aerial into immediate up tilt, and there's just no mix-up after that, right? So if Nick can't reset to neutral, or at least find some type of counter hit or punish after that, he's going to have a really hard time finding game 5 here.
Absolutely. I really like that sequence there with the Nair extension. That seems to be kind of a SDJ kind of trademark. And Nair just very good in this matchup. Good reaction as well. I like the F smash, but doesn't get it.
Airs one out. You got to do it. Sometimes it's a layups there.
Oh. So again, you know, one of the things we're not seeing from SDJ as much is that rest, and specifically reaction tech chase rest. A lot of Puffs would, in the modern era, go for a rest there, but actually Zane's Puff of all things is what I'm thinking of. But yeah, still very, very good punish.
All right, missed shield drop right there means Nick doesn't find any type of hit as SDJ returns to stage. We go back to neutral right here, and now it's Nick on the ledge instead.
Yep. And how do you get down? Puff kind of looking.
All right, good traded hit, but again, you took a lot of damage on the way out for that stock.
Yeah, and this is where you might start to see Puff throwing out things like dash attack. I like the run-up grab, just anything to kind of knock Falcon off stage, because even though with the aerial drift, you know, and kind of being able to mix up recoveries, Puff can kind of match a lot of that. She can kind of react to where Falcon is and makes the edge guard a lot more tricky to get back.
Potential last stock here for Nickemwit. See if he can pull a rabbit out of a hat or a Puff out of a Pokeball. Let's find one first.
Yeah, back
Need a
against
knee?
the wall,
Yeah,
and the
there
knee
it
is just barely not going to do it, but still got controlling stage. Oh, I like the awareness to shield there.
Oh, you can just rest out of that. That's so scary. That's such a commit to go for the Captain Falcon.
You know, so much of these situations, I think the reason why Nickemwit is hanging into this set is because of the situational awareness. There's these little moments where, like, every Puff does X thing, and he's ready for it. So really, really good play from Nickemwit, but still back against the wall, needs to close the stock out, and any kind of big hit just is pushing his win further and further away. But 53, not too bad. Something like an up tilt up air could lead to a rest, but that could be a rest right there.
This is it.
And that's
gonna do it. SDJ eliminating Nickemwit from Rise and Grind at 7th place. God damn, we saw only like 3 rests, but they all mattered.
Yeah, honestly, like, I can really respect SDJ's approach to kind of the punish. I think a lot of stuff there, very, very kind of interesting, cool, different options. Again, the Nair really stands out to me. Using the rest off the top as a mix-up in particular, I think is really strong. It's something that, like, because we're so used to seeing Puffs use it at really low percent, we don't kind of see the situation where, like, people are just like, oh, yeah, you're just going to back air me. You're going to do the wall of pain stuff that we've seen time and time again, and that's where it can be kind of valuable to throw it back in.
Yeah, could not agree more. I mean, that was a fun set to watch. Give it up for Nickemwit, 7th place at Rise and Grind. Congratulations, but it's going to be SDJ who proceeds on in this bracket. And I think we got Rod over here with a few more questions. Rod, what you got for us?
Test. Okay, now we're on finally here. Sorry about that, friends. Last time there was a little spaghetti, but we're on now. Yo, you got to talk to me really quick here, SDJ. What was your mind in game number 1? You know, saying no rest on that first game. You know, so it was a pretty convincing, you know, butt kicking. But game number 2, it looks like you really started to turn it up. What was going on?
Well, I was trying to figure out how he was, like, going to DI. Because with the box, it's like you have 2 types of box players. Ones who are, like, going to hold down. And so that's why, like, when he SDI'd down, I got the rest. Because I knew I didn't have to jab because he'd been doing it a lot. And then once I, like, started picking up on his DI patterns, I felt, like, more confident with the rest. Because sometimes, like, it just doesn't work if you don't know exactly where they are. And instead of, like, risking it, I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep up airing until, like, I know what his DI is.
100%. Now, going into that match, of course, there's game plans at hand. But like the age-old saying goes, everybody has a game plan until you get punched in the face. But it seemed like in game number 2, the down there started to come through a little bit more. How important is that in a matchup versus Jigglypuff?
For Falcon, it's like everything. Because on the ground, like, if Falcon can't get me to jump, there's nothing Falcon can do. Because I just crouch his grab, and then I CC everything else. And so, like, with the stomp, it makes me have to respect Falcon grab, because, like, I can't just hold down and crouch. Because if I do that, I just get stomped into stomp into stomp. Yeah.
Stomp into stomp into stomp. Well, hey, one more time, congratulations for yourself. Of course, the journey is still intact for you, my friends. Commentators, back to you.